UFC 277. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Main event, Julianna Pena versus Amanda Nunes 2. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Turn those post notifications on and share the video as well. Let's jump right into it. First fight of the night, Orion Cosce versus Blood Diamond. I have to pick Orion Cosce. You got to go with the wrestler over Blood Diamond's kickboxing. Jeremiah Wells was able to control him, finish him on the floor in the first round. I will say, Cosce's stand-up is iffy, like bad hooks sometimes, like really out of range and square. When he fought Phil Rowe in the last one, I really didn't like what I saw from the striking department, but he's got good pressure wrestling. I don't know if Blood Diamond's going to have the takedown defense, and if it goes to the ground, I think he's extremely limited when it gets to the floor. His stand-up, dangerous, really good kicking skill set, very good dexterity. He's pro kickboxing. Like, his game is striking, and he's fighting a guy whose game is more wrestling. I have to go with the more seasoned wrestler in Orion Cosce. I will pick him leaning second round submission, but wouldn't be surprised with a decision either. Lines here, Cosce minus 163, Blood Diamond plus 154. We're riding with Orion Cosce for the win to start things off. Negumereanu versus Ihor Potieria. I like Ihor Potieria in this fight. He looks pretty dangerous from what we've seen striking. He's a southpaw. He's pretty rangy. Though he doesn't have the longest arms, he manages distance well with a wide stance and like keeps that lead hand out a little bit far. I like what I see from the hooks inside. I think he does have knockout power. He keeps his head moving off the center line, which is a very valuable trait, especially in these higher weight classes where there's some serious power coming your way. Negumereanu on the other side brings a very pressure-heavy boxing game, but he's a bit stiff, a little bit square, lots of hooks. I feel like he's awkward at times and out of position. Okay clinch wrestling from Negumereanu. I don't think it's going to be something of an issue for Potieria to deal with. I think that you're going to see Potieria look good striking. Got a big win on the Contender Series by knockout. Does have some submissions, but if you look at recent competition, it bothers me a bit that I'm seeing him just 2 years ago fighting guys with 0 wins, bad records. But as of late, he's beating fairly top-line competition, big one in the Contender Series. I got to go with Ihor Potieria. I think the striking difference, the southpaw stance, I think the technical ability, and I do feel like him moving his head off the center line, I think he can find a counter strike. I'm going to say that Ihor sleeps Negumereanu in the first or second. Looking at the lines, Potieria is sitting at minus 147. Negumereanu plus 140. We're going with Potieria win by KO. Next fight of the night, Yeon Kim versus Joselyne Edwards. I got to go with Kim in this matchup. I think she has a pretty good shot. She looked decent against Priscilla Cachoeira, but Cachoeira, granted, very different style than Joselyne Edwards. When I see Edwards, though, I see someone that can get hit with a lot of shots standing up. Now, Kim has a little bit of a reach advantage, which is going to be something that I like a lot here. She doesn't do a great job of managing distance against shorter girls, but Edwards, being someone who likes to kickbox from range, I think Kim's going to have some success in this matchup. I do think she's got the better hands of the two, and I like her footwork. Edwards, decent kickboxing, pretty solid kicks, but I wouldn't say she has a fantastic skill set. That chin comes up a little bit high. I see her hittable down the center line. I think Kim can land some more significant strikes on the feet. Grappling, I see similarities. I would lean at physical strength towards Kim. I'm going to pick Kim to win a decision here. And she is sitting at plus 118, so you're getting dog money. Joselyne Edwards minus 125. Don't think it's a great dog play. Looking at Kim, 3 straight losses. Edwards, she is coming off that 1 win. The last one against Romana Pascual. And we saw Pascual actually fight just recently, and I mean, she gave a fair go. Joselyne Edwards, I think it's outstruck. I think the boxing is like the biggest difference maker between the two here standing up, and I think on the floor similarities, but I lean at Kim in the physical strength and wrestling department. We will ride with Yeon Kim win by decision here. Next fight of the night, Michael Morales versus Adam Fugitt. You got to ride Michael Morales. Adam's coming in on short notice. And I mean, you got to respect the guy for jumping in. 8-2, 33 years of age. This is like a now or never moment. And he's got his feet inside of the UFC door. Southpaw had a big upset win in the LFA, I believe, in the last fight. The name Solomon Renfro. Yeah, 4 months ago, he got the KO over him. Pretty good kicks. Like, we'll throw multiple high kicks in a row. Solid lead right hook, I believe. Yeah, lead southpaw stance, right hook. Lead right hook. He's got a bit of pop on it if he can find it. Now, what I did not like looking at footage earlier on in his career, I see potential for straight shots to land. I think he had a great performance against Solomon Renfro, but I'm not expecting that guy each and every time. I think he was just on fire that night. Michael Morales, he's going to be the pick, obviously. I think most people will be leaning towards him confidently. He's a real scary prospect with good grappling, very athletic guy, knockout power in the hands, win over Trevin Giles, where he was dropped early, and he showed he can come back from adversity, which I think is a solid attribute. I like the clinch pressure and wrestling, and I like the length from him as well. He'll fight well from distance here. I think he's in a TKO, Fugitt. I'm thinking probably first or second round. Got to respect Adam for jumping in on short notice, but it's Michael Morales as an extremely confident pick for the win. Let's see. Do we have the lines for Michael Morales? Yes, we do. He is a minus 525 favorite. Fugitt plus 445. It's Michael Morales for the win. And I'll say he'll get it done by a knockout. But advantage is pretty much everywhere for him. Next fight of the night. Drakkar Klose versus Rafa García. I'm going to be picking Drakkar to win this fight. Rafa jumping in on short notice. You know, Rafa's like a pretty decent fighter. He's well-rounded, decent boxing game, but not great. I mean, he got beat up by Chris Grutzmacher a bit from range. Pretty well-built guy, though, so he's very physically strong, has okay wrestling. To me, Drakkar Klose is going to be a problem with the pressure, has a little bit of the length advantage, but I definitely think he has an advantage in the speed department. From close range, Drakkar has dangerous hands. He actually works well in the clinch. I was impressed by that win against Brandon Jenkins. You look at his fight against Beneil Dariush, he had moments. He got into a slobber knocker of a brawl and ends up getting KO'd. I like Drakkar's chances to win in this fight against Rafa García with an intelligent game plan, winning a decision. Of course, there will be moments that I do think he lets it go, but I got to respect the toughness that Rafa brings. So we're going to ride with Drakkar Klose, win by a decision. Klose is a minus 220 favorite. Rafa García, the plus 205 underdog. We'll ride with Drakkar Klose to get the victory on the cards here. Next fight of the night, Don'Tale Mayes versus Hamdy Abdelwahab. I got to ride Don'Tale Mayes to win. He's got an advantage in the height department and the reach department significantly, but Hamdy has a legit wrestling game. He's a Greco-Roman Olympian in the 2016 games. If he gets you to the floor, he can do very good work from the top. But I saw sloppy stand-up. He does have 2 bare-knuckle MMA fights, so he's 5-0 really as a pro if you include the Gamebred FC bouts. Not good competition. Hasn't really fought anybody. Still went longer. I believe it was the 4-4 guy that he fought recently, Dustin Clements. I think they went to the 3rd round. And I mean, it was not super competitive. You saw Hamdy landing takedowns and whatnot, but I didn't like it enough to be like, okay, now you're UFC ready, taking on Don'Tale Mayes on short notice. Now, Mayes is not the most technically skilled guy on the roster, but he's a big opponent. He's physically super strong. He's got pretty good wrestling defense and good offensive wrestling on his own. Yeah, Hamdy has the credentialed grappling. You know, of course, going to the Olympics, it's going to be a huge factor, but I don't think he's going to look great here. I could see him landing takedowns on Mayes, pressing him against the cage, but I think Mayes will do decent work from distance and touch Hamdy up on the feet when he looks to strike, which he will. I like Don'Tale Mayes taking it on the cards. I'm going to pick him by a decision, but I don't necessarily love the pick because there's a lot of question marks around Hamdy. How's he going to look when he fights someone that's actually legit competition? Because he's been running through, the tomato can level. Plus 130 for Hamdy. Don'Tale Mayes minus 130. I'm going to ride Mayes to win it on the cards over Hamdy. But I don't think it's going to be super impressive, and I think we're seeing a ton of clinch work, pressure by Hamdy, some distance from Don'Tale where he'll land strikes. I feel like this is going to be a really weird fight. Not my favorite one to throw down on, but I like Don'Tale Mayes to get the hand raised. Next fight of the night, Drew Dober and Rafael Alves. I'm picking Rafael Alves to win. I actually think he's going to catch Drew Dober in a guillotine. He shoots for that guillotine a lot, and I mean, he put Ismagulov in compromising positions with it. Alves starts very fast. Drew Dober, notoriously durable, took a beating against Terrence McKinney and then comes back and wins the fight. You look at Drew's game, he's pretty solid, fighting out of the southpaw stance, striking, very big base. He's a powerful guy. I feel like his hands could do damage on Alves if Alves gets a little bit reckless. But I think Alves will have a pretty decent game of looking to pressure, land hooks, and then clinch up. Maybe even taking Drew Dober down. Drew's got a super huge leg, like base, and he's strong and powerful. But he gets taken down a fair amount. I could see Alves landing takedowns. Alves on the mat, I think, has the slicker jiu-jitsu by a good amount. I see some type of scramble, and then I see Alves locking up a submission. I'm going to say second round sub for Rafael Alves over Drew Dober. Looking at the lines for this fight, Dober is the favorite at -202. Alves the +195 dog. I like I like Alves' chances of submitting Drew Dober. I'm thinking he catches him in a guillotine, some type of front choke position. He's going to pull for it. I think he locks it up. I'm going Rafael Alves for the win. Not club and sub, just straight sub here. Next fight of the night, Alex Morono versus Matt Semelsberger. I think Alex Morono has a pretty good shot. His striking, I think, is going to be a little bit awkward for Semelsberger to deal with, and I see Morono closing distance and landing pretty good hooks. Semelsberger's decent from range. He brings a little bit of a height and reach advantage, but not super significant. 3 inches on the reach, 2 inches on the height. Solid straight punches, decent jab-cross combination. Morono, little bit square, so that is a concern for the straight punches down the line, but he does parry shots fairly well. I like how he comes inside with explosiveness and pressure. He's got good front kicks from range, pretty swell grappling game too, and I would say Semelsberger is going to be at a disadvantage by a little bit when it gets to the grappling department, though I don't necessarily think Morono is going to press for that. I think Alex Morono is going to look good standing up. I think it's going to be a striking matchup. I think it goes the full 3, and I think Semelsberger definitely can have moments here, but Morono has more of them. We're going with Alex Morono to win. I'm going to say decision. I think he lands some good significant strikes, but I do feel like we're going long in this matchup. Morono's slight dog too, +150. Semelsberger -149 is the favorite. We're riding Alex Morono for the win over Matthew Semelsberger. And I think Morono's going to be in an interesting position because what's that, 4 straight? I don't necessarily think he gets a ranked guy, but that jumps the competition level up. And I mean, Semelsberger 2 straight, only lost to Chaos Williams. He's a pretty durable dude. I don't see Morono getting the finish. We're going Alex Morono decision in a fun, high-stakes featured prelim of the night. Let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe to the channel. It's Magomed Ankalaev and Anthony Smith. I'm picking Magomed Ankalaev. He manages distance extremely well. I like the jab. I like the footwork. I like the low kicks. I like the speed. He actually has a bit of pop in the hands, but he's not a guy that's going to overthrow with power. He's going to look to land shots that stun his opponents and do damage, but he's not overly looking for a knockout. And that's why you see Ankalaev. I mean, he's got a KO. And then he's got 3 decisions. Granted, the first fight with Kute Labo was a bit of a weird stoppage. But lately, it's been going long. I think that he's going to be able to pick Anthony Smith apart from range. Though Smith is tricky to deal with from distance, I see the boxing difference inside favoring Ankalaev. I see the wrestling definitely on the Ankalaev side. I don't think Anthony Smith is going to go out there and find some type of submission off the back like Paul Craig was able to do with the second left. I don't see that happening in this matchup. I think Ankalaev looks pretty good, fights well from range, closes distance, and looks to wrestle a little bit, especially if Smith starts finding that calf kick. Granted, note this, and actually probably limits the ability of the calf kick here because Ankalaev fighting out of the southpaw stance. Unless Smith is going to switch stances and try to work it, it's not going to be there. That's one of Smith's, I would say, newer and probably best tools he's been using as of late. Of course, Anthony Smith has always been pretty well-rounded too. Does have a bit of pop in the hands. Will slug it out, striking a bit. I think Ankalaev could definitely land counters, but I'm still not seeing an Ankalaev finish. I think he's too patient, really, to get a finish here. I think he's going to fight with safety first, intelligent game plan, and get himself a clear, unanimous decision in beating Anthony Smith. Now, the problem is the lines here are terrible. Minus 480 for Ankalaev, Smith plus 400. There's no value on the Ankalaev bet. I don't think it's very likely that Smith pulls it off as an upset, but if I was really giving you true lines, I'm putting it more in the minus 200 range for Ankalaev. I don't think he deserves to be a near minus 500 favorite against a game fighter like Anthony Smith, though Ankalaev, to me, has very clear advantages and takes him out. We're going Magomed, Ankalaev, win by a decision. Next fight of the night, Alexandre Pantoja versus Alex Perez. I'm going to be picking Pantoja, but it's not an easy fight. Alex Perez is slick with his stand-up, nasty calf kicks, which he destroyed Jussier Formiga with. He's got quick hands, too, pretty solid hooks, knockout power, certainly, and if he touches you up, he can do some damage. Pantoja, being a guy that likes to brawl a bit, gets reckless sometimes on the feet, could definitely get caught by things. Now, on the floor, I think Pantoja has a clear edge with the jiu-jitsu. It's going to be hard to get Perez there, who has a good wrestling game. I still think Pantoja finds a way. Maybe engaging in a brawl earlier in the fight, and then you see Pantoja potentially getting back position against the cage. Some type of position where he's dominant. Maybe he touches Perez with a big shot and then Perez shoots and Pantoja locks him up, because I'm leaning towards Alexandre Pantoja to win this fight by a submission over Alex Perez. I'm kind of thinking second round sub here. Pantoja at minus 159, Perez at plus 150. We'll ride with Alexandre Pantoja. And if he wins this fight, he's in the mix, like seriously in the mix, especially if Moreno later on in the card gets the win. Maybe that's a fight down the line, depending on Davis and Figueiredo. Pantoja having a win on The Ultimate Fighter and a win in the UFC over Moreno. I'd be interested in a third fight between the two. We're riding Alexandre Pantoja to beat Alex Perez, and he'll do it by submission. Featured bout of the night. Heavyweights going after it. Derrick Lewis and Sergei Pavlovich. I'm picking Sergei Pavlovich to sleep Derrick Lewis, which I don't know if this is a terrible idea or not, but I don't like what I saw from Derrick Lewis against Tai Tuivasa. I feel like Pavlovich, if he, 15-1, he's shown good durability. The only loss by finish was what? Overeem? How many years ago was that now? Nearly 4 years ago, 3.5 years. Pavlovich from distance will have an advantage. He's got the longer reach. He's got decent straight punches. He's got a pretty sniper right. Derrick Lewis closing distance is going to be extremely dangerous. If Pavlovich gets overzealous, it takes one shot from Derrick Lewis. I got to ride with the 15-1 Pavlovich to knock Derrick Lewis out, which I hate doing. I don't like picking against Derrick Lewis. It just puts you in a terrible position because it literally takes one punch to end the night. Maybe Pavlovich looks to mix in some grappling and show some new wrinkles there, because he definitely does have a decent ground game. But standing up, he's got a technical boxing edge, and he brings real knockout power too. Derrick Lewis doesn't have technical boxing. He hits like a truck, and he's going to look to slug bombs at you. I'm going to say Pavlovich finds the perfect shot and knocks him out in the first or second here. We're riding with him. Plus 100 for Sergei Pavlovich. Derrick Lewis at minus 102. I hate picking against Dilu. We're riding with Pavlovich to pull it off. I like this Russian dude, man. I think he's got some real potential with the stand-up. I like his chances to touch Lewis. And, the Tai Tuivasa knockout. Derrick Lewis, 37. I don't know. Could be catching up to him. I'm going Pavlovich by KO. Co-main event of the evening. Brandon Moreno versus Kai Kara France 2. I'm going to be picking Brandon Moreno to beat Kai again. And I know it's unfortunate for some of the Kai lovers out there, especially because he's gotten so much better. When I watched the first fight, I see both guys have improved since that point, and they've improved at a similar level, and it was a really close matchup. Thing is, we got 5 rounds. Moreno, I wouldn't be surprised if looks to mix in a little bit of wrestling to throw that Kai Kara France stand-up game off a bit. I like Brandon Moreno's volume. I like his pressure. Kai Kara-France has a mean right hand, which definitely could land. If you watch the first fight, Moreno overthrows the left hook a lot, and then Kai catches him over the top with the right hand. I expect Moreno to be fixing that flaw, but I do also expect Kai Kara-France to be very cognizant of the potential overthrown left hook and then finding the right hand. And right now, Kai Kara-France's right hand looks on the money, especially after a huge knockout over Cody Garbrandt. If he touches you, he'll put you down. I think Moreno can take the shots, though. Very durable guy, proven durability. Went out there, beat Deiveson Figueiredo, loses in the trilogy after a draw in the first matchup, and now interim belt on the line between him and Kai. I think Moreno's going to take it on the cards. Probably 48, 47, 49, 46. I think definitely Kai gets around. I think he looks good. He puts an A-list effort, but unfortunately, it's just hard for me to see him beating this new, improved, well-rounded Moreno. I mean, he still went 5 rounds with Figueiredo twice and then once finished them. Regardless of the result, people felt the first one maybe shouldn't have been a draw, and then the second one he dominates and makes Figueiredo look just completely human, and then he loses a competitive decision recently. Kai Kara-France on a roll. I think that roll is stifled here. Range advantage for Moreno too. His kicking game's going to be on display. We're riding with Brandon Moreno. High activity volume for the win. He is the -190 favorite. Kai Kara-France, the +180 underdog. We're riding with Brandon Moreno for the win. Main event of the evening. Julianna Pena versus Amanda Nunes 2. These ladies running it back. I have to pick Julianna Pena. I have to. She broke Amanda Nunes in the first fight. As good as Amanda looked in the first round, Nunes was still not on her A game. Still couldn't get Pena out of there. Still was struggling a bit. Pena was making it difficult. She was frustrating her. Julianna's Pena's style, to me, is extremely frustrating to Amanda Nunes. And I expect that frustration to be shown in this fight. You look at the stand-up. Yes, Pena is not near as technical as Amanda Nunes, but she's powerful and she's consistent and she's going to throw with everything. And she wings those kind of weird-looking straights. Nunes still isn't really able to block it. That unorthodox, kind of awkward 1-2 for Julianna Pena worked money in the last one. She was lugging shots out there on Amanda Nunes and finding the chin. And then Nunes broke and tapped to a choke that I don't think most people in a jiu-jitsu class are tapping to. I feel like when you get broken like that, it's extremely hard to come back. You have to wonder where Amanda Nunes' head is at this point. I mean, she's got a kid now, done it all in MMA, millionaire. Julianna Pena, it's the now. She beat Nunes once. She wants to do it again and prove I am the baddest woman on the planet, or at least the baddest 135er. I guess technically UFC champion, baddest woman on the planet. We won't talk about the other top females around the world, but I think Julianna Pena is going to beat Amanda Nunes again. It's hard for me to see Amanda back with that fire and flair. Even on The Ultimate Fighter, I didn't feel it the same. Julianna Pena's mindset is so rock solid. I just see her getting another one over Nunes, which is crazy. And it definitely could go the Nunes way. She could make the proper adjustments, but it's hard for me to say. And look at the lines. +240, Julianna Pena. Amanda Nunes, -254. Nunes is still a big favorite, even after the first fight, where she clearly broke. I feel like Pena is going to break her again. I think the sting of that first matchup is still there for Amanda Nunes. I think it's going to be bothering her coming into this fight. And I think Julianna Pena pulls it off, upset, and still champion of the world. We got a pretty solid UFC 277 fight card coming at you guys. Looking forward to each of the matchups. Looking forward to all the content I'll be dropping all week. So make sure you guys keep it locked in here at MMA Experts. Smash those likes, subscribe if you're new, and turn on those post notifications too. If you really enjoyed the content, share the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the picks. If you don't have anything to say, but you just enjoy the content, show some love to your boy, drop a W in the chat. I will see you guys all week long. Much love, and have a great night, everybody. Peace.